against Leicester in Brendan Rodgers' first game also have 43 points. So the referee will get us underway in just a moment. Martin Atkinson, it's 4:15 in the afternoon local time, and we're underway in this big derby. Header away by Matip, and then back it comes from Idrissa Gueye. Jordan Henderson drives it forward for Liverpool. He's captain today, back in the side in place of James Milner, who started the game against Watford. Not a great header by Van Dijk, and here's Calvert-Lewin trying to get Everton going. Forward it goes off the studs, really, of Schneiderlin. Plenty of noise inside the ground. How important was it, Alan, after a series of draws where they didn't really perform brilliantly, Liverpool, that they produced such a marvellous display against Watford in the week?
Yeah, that was really important on the back of the game, with certainly with United, where they were by half-time, 3 subs, and they might have thought at half-time we could go on and win the game. They knew United would sit in and try and counter-attack. But yeah, it was important. It kept them on track. It keeps them in a position. If they win today, they're back ahead again, but it's going to be a ding-dong battle at the end of the season.
Here's Salah with the free kick. He might have been better leaving it for Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was easily cleared by Everton. The young England fullback set up 3 of the goals against Watford. Here's Salah trying to find Sadio Mane. There's a flag up on the near side for an offside. But give me opportunity to take you through the 2 lineups in full. Everton have Jordan Pickford in goal, their only ever present player this season. Seamus Coleman, Michael Keane, Kurt Zouma, who's back from suspension, and Lucas Digne, the back 4. Morgan Schneiderlin and Idrissa Gueye will sit deep. Then it's Theo Walcott, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Bernard back to replace Richarlison, and up front Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Liverpool have Alisson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk, and Andrew Robertson is the rock-solid back 4. Then we've got Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Gino Wijnaldum in midfield. Up front, Mohamed Salah, Divock Origi, who continues to stand in for Roberto Firmino, who's on the bench today. He's got an ankle injury, but he's fit enough for a substitute's place, and completing that trio up front is Sadio Mane, who's been in decent form. He's playing his 150th Premier League appearance today. Mane scored 3 goals in previous encounters against Everton, so they'll have to look out for him. Here's Alexander-Arnold driving it down the right-hand side. Looks a bit long, chased by Zouma. Pickford just judges the bounce, and Mane was trying to get back at him then, and has not been able to get to the ball, and Pickford shepherded it out. Jurgen Klopp wearing his black Liverpool baseball cap and a grey flecked scarf around his neck. What's the attitude for Liverpool? I mean, obviously, they've had a fantastic season, but if they don't win the title, it'll feel like they haven't, won't it? Well, to them at the end of it.
Well, certainly, it's a fantastic team. It really is. It's full of excitement. The introduction of Robertson's been a masterstroke. Trent Alexander-Arnold, some young players, Gomez.
Alexander-Arnold coming forward here menacingly and finding Wijnaldum, who's got it out to Origi, whose last gasp goal won this derby in December at Anfield. That cross is cleared by Michael Keane. Well, Liverpool have 69 points from 28 games. All 7 of the clubs who've reached that figure at that point have gone on to win the title, but none really, I don't think, have ever been as challenged as Liverpool are, because of course if they don't win this game, they will remain second behind Manchester City.
Well, it's a fantastic team they've got together, as I mentioned there. But it's the likes of Man City and how far they've come, how far the club has taken things forward in terms of how they play, the structure and what they're trying to do, the resources they have. That's been the unfortunate thing for Liverpool, really, but they've tried to match that as well with ambition.
Henderson just darts the ball out wide. It's asking too much of Mo Salah to get there, and Lucas Digne will shepherd it out. Keep the tweets coming. We had some brilliant tweets yesterday when I was covering the North London derby. I had a feeling that Robin Michael from Brazil might be among those first to tweet, and he's a Liverpool fan, of course. I tweaked the can hear the noise at Anfield. OK, Mr. Klopp and all at LFC, time to show we mean business. Salah hat-trick question mark, he's due a few goals.
Well, certainly the Everton fans won't like that in Goodison Park this afternoon. It's noisy. As you'd expect, it's been a frantic start to the game with not much pattern of play. It's just both teams trying to establish just some sort of pattern in how they set up, how they play, how they get the ball, and a rhythm going. And at the moment, it's not really happened.
It's cut out by Alexander-Arnold. The ball is back with Everton. Morgan Schneiderlin gets it across field, and then it's played long and diagonal towards Bernard, back in the team for his compatriot Richarlison. Trent Alexander-Arnold gets a foot in. Robin was mentioning Mohamed Salah, who's only got one goal in his last 6 games, but if he scores today, it will be his 50th Premier League goal for Liverpool, and he'd be the fastest player ever to reach that landmark for a single club. But at the moment, Liverpool are defending with 6 minutes gone. Lucas Digne, the French left fullback, has wiped the ball on his shirt and taken a little bit of a run up to try and get a long throw in. It was actually a foul throw. He had his foot over the line, but it wasn't spotted. Here he is again, Digne, just down the line to Bernard. Bernard with a decent looking cross. It might come through for Walcott. Couldn't quite control it, the former Arsenal man. Divock Origi tries to get away. Walcott might be in trouble here because he's deliberately pulled him back. It's a yellow card for Walcott.
Well, Martin Atkinson straight to his pocket there. I mean, it was a clever foul in the end, but it's a nice little ball from Bernard into the box. Comes in, Keane tries to attack it, Walcott just doesn't quite get there, and it's just the strength really of Origi. Whether it was quite a booking, I'm not too sure, because there's a covering player behind there for Everton. He set his stall out the referee now, Martin Atkinson.
Doesn't seem that long ago, does it, that Theo Walcott joined Arsenal from your former club as a teenager. This will depress you. Walcott will be 30 in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks for that. John, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I still think of him as a young player.
Yeah, you do. And he was actually at Swindon.
Yes.
Swindon Town Football Club.
One that you're involved with at the moment.
He was a young boy and he was taken to Southampton from there. The one thing the Everton fans and the club will be disappointed is that they're 20 points adrift of 6th place.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you can be 10th in the league and be 6 points or 7 points behind and have a chance of getting into that sort of and pushing on for the end of the season, but they know they're just not going to get there, and that's the disappointing thing for the fans and the club, with the investment that they've put into the place.
Yeah, nothing much to play for Everton, although they won't need motivation in this one. Here's chance for them to get forward. Coleman with the ball. Allison plucks it out of the air very, very comfortably, then bowls it underarm to Jordan Henderson, who goes surging across midfield, plays a short ball to Salah. Really poor touch by him, and it's given away to Bernard. And well, the Everton fans are happy, I think, that in the opening 8 minutes they've gone toe-to-toe with Liverpool and had to match them, if not exceeded them, really.
Well, they have. Their football's been exceptional at times. The one-touch play, they've got down the right-hand side particularly well, and that's the one problem Liverpool might have when they play 4-3-3. When you've got Origi, who has to come back, not naturally a left-sided player, and he might just switch off defensively, and particularly with Seamus Coleman with his ability to get forward, it could cause them 1 or 2 problems. But at the moment, in the opening nearly 9 minutes of the game, Everton have been fractionally the better team.
Hussein, another of our regular tweeters, Chelsea fan of course, is predicting a Liverpool 2-0 win from Lagos. 2-0 was the scoreline the last time Everton beat Liverpool in a derby. It was back in 2010. Among the goals that day was Mikel Arteta, who is now of course Pep Guardiola's right-hand man at Manchester City, the team who could quite well deny Liverpool a title. Liverpool have twice led at Christmas in recent years, and on both times gone on to not win the title. There was that famous Steven Gerrard slip, of course, wasn't there, a couple of years ago under Brendan Rodgers. Here's Calvert-Lewin for Everton. It might come through to Sigurdsson. Chance! Sigurdsson tries to cut it across to Theo Walcott, and Virgil van Dijk was stationed in exactly the right place to make sure the ball didn't reach Walcott. But Everton have made a really positive start. Good play by Calvert-Lewin. Walcott on inside, but Van Dijk just in the way.
Well, Van Dijk was complaining to the linesman before the play had actually stopped, and he got lucky there, really. Again, it was good play. Calvert-Lewin, who I think it's a big few months for him as well as a player. He's up against two centre-halves who are quality.
Everton corner, Sigurdsson takes it, Liverpool clear, back in it comes though, Origi is back defending and plays it forward towards Andrew Robertson, who's been such an extraordinary purchase for Liverpool, but there's going to be a free kick to the Reds. Martin Atkinson has penalised Idrissa Gueye for a foul. 10 minutes gone, Everton 0, Liverpool 0, but Everton certainly the better team. Liverpool haven't really got going yet, have they?
No, they haven't. It's the intensity, obviously the home side, Everton, the fans with them.
Alexander-Arnold's turn to try and get across it. He does that, it hits Lucas Digne, so just seconds after Everton had their first corner of the game, Liverpool have now got theirs at the other end. Trent Alexander-Arnold, whose delivery of crosses against Watford was as good as anything you've seen since David Beckham.
Yeah, it was outstanding, and he's on the set pieces.
Here's his corner, it's an outswinger, and just as course as we say that, it's a really poor delivery that David Beckham would have been ashamed of.
Slightly different when it's a dead ball than a ball that's moving, but I'm sure he was getting plenty of stick there as a Liverpoolian himself. He was getting plenty of stick from the Everton fans there.
His 26th game of the season, Trent Alexander-Arnold turned 20 last year. Here he is again with the cross. It deflects and is knocked away by Gueye. This is the first time Liverpool have had any kind of spell of territorial pressure. They're camped in the Everton final third at the moment.
And I'm pretty sure Bernard would have been given a really big task of when the ball does go out to Trent Alexander-Arnold, that he's got to go out, he's got to try and get around him, stop that quality into the box, and so far he's done it. There will be moments in the game, there will be opportunities for the Liverpool right back to get that quality he got into the box at Watford the other evening.
Yeah. Here's Henderson chipping it in to use football. Origi is there, it might drop for Wijnaldum, it might drop for Mane. It doesn't in the end get to either, because goalkeeper Jordan Pickford was out smartly, but that was a moment of panic really in the Everton defence. They couldn't get the ball clear properly. It hit Coleman, and it was kind in the end because the rebound allowed Pickford enough time to grab the ball away from Sadio Mane.
Certainly a couple of fortunate rebounds there for Everton. Eventually fell to Pickford, but when they do get wide, that's the one thing I like about Liverpool, as well as they're trying to pass the ball and they're not afraid to cross the ball into the box. And if you've got Origi coming at the far post as well, he's a little bit taller than Seamus Coleman, so Seamus has got to use his experience to defend that situation well.
It's not a very good ball by Joel Matip, but he's got away with it because Virgil van Dijk again has shown his sharpness. I mean, he's been absolutely pivotal, Van Dijk, in this Liverpool season. You cannot underestimate the contribution he's made. It's been galvanising, really.
He just looks so calm, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It helps that you're playing in a good team, but I would say he's been a key factor for them, being confident enough at times to take risky situations. He's obviously very good from set pieces, scoring plenty of goals now as well, so a fine player.
Chijoke Izundu says, is there anything that could delight United and City fans more than Liverpool dropping points in the Merseyside derby? And you can add Everton fans to that as well. I'm sure that Liverpool, Manchester City in particular, will be looking on in their luxury homes, watching on their giant TV sets and hoping that Everton can do them a favour. City, of course, won by a single goal at Bournemouth yesterday, but that 82% of the possessions, and goodness knows how many chances. They could have won 4 or 5.
They just keep churning out performances, don't they? That's a great ball from Henderson.
Now then, here's Salah running onto it, and Seamus Coleman did well. It was a good ball by Henderson. Salah was lively and Coleman was livelier still to stick out a boot and get it away from the Egyptian.
Yeah, Michael Keane, the centre-half, he's got to be careful. They got caught ball watching, in particular when Salah pulls in between the full-back and the centre-half. He's very, very good.
Here's Salah again inside the Everton box. Swirling shot. Doesn't get quite enough swirl on it. In the end, it's an easy catch for Jordan Pickford. But how many times have we seen Mo Salah cut inside and curl those beautifully into the corner? Didn't quite get it right on that occasion, but signs of life from Liverpool now.
Yeah, better movement there from Salah, and when it opened up with his left foot, he knows he should set that out maybe another metre outside that far post and hope it curls in. Maybe just lacking a slight little bit of confidence, because he'd given the ball away a couple of times. He didn't need to give the ball away for Liverpool, and he had done. But that gave him a little bit of confidence there, and a little warning sign to the Everton defenders that he's still sharp in and around that box.
Here's Salah, near side, just rolls it back to Trent Alexander-Arnold, back to Salah again, infield it comes to Henderson. Henderson's caught a little bit late there by Schneiderlin, but play continues. It's gone backwards from Liverpool's point of view. We've had a quarter of an hour. Virgil van Dijk goes even further back to Alisson, all in yellow today. The Brazilian goalkeeper who's kept more clean sheets in the Premier League than any other keeper, 16 of them. He hasn't conceded in 4 games in all competitions. Prior to this match, that was 422 minutes without letting in a goal.
Well, that's why they're top of the league, because the team in front of Alisson is protecting his goal. He hasn't have to have too many saves or risky situations in many games, because Liverpool dominate games. So as a goalkeeper, he's fantastic. He's got an air of confidence about him. But at the minute, I've been really impressed with Everton. Their intensity has really ruffled Liverpool a little bit.
And here they come again with Sigurdsson, who got 2 of the goals against Cardiff the other night. Result which has compounded Cardiff's woes. Beaten at Wolves, of course, Neil Warnock's team, and definitely still an endangered species. Here's Salah finding Mane. Henderson wants it played down the right. Henderson gets the ball, then drives it in with his side foot. Lucas Digne is in the way, and it's a corner to Liverpool.
Well, for all of Everton's good play, Liverpool are very, very dangerous on the counter-attack. We've seen it many, many times. You see it in some training methods that they use to counter-attack quickly and be direct, and that's how they manage to sometimes sap the energy of teams when you're attacking Liverpool, and then suddenly it turns over, and they're very, very good. And Van Dijk now is an obvious person to aim for from this corner.
One at the end of 2 against Watford, didn't he, in midweek? Here's Alexander-Arnold. It's an outswinger once again. It's cleared by the first Liverpool defender. It comes straight back to Alexander-Arnold, who finds Fabinho. Fabinho, it was a clever ball in terms of intention. He didn't quite get it right. He tried to hook it and curl it with the outside of his boot towards Van Dijk. Just a little bit too much on it, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, the intention was right, but I will say the Everton defenders got up the pitch pretty quick there, and Van Dijk had to go with them, and he was the intended target from Fabinho there. Just slightly overhit it. But although we haven't had much in terms of goal knife action, we just had the one shot from Salah. The intensity has been as you'd expect in the derby, and I've enjoyed the opening 18 minutes, and let's hope we get a few more chances as the game goes along.
Got a listener in Nagano, Japan. Hi to Chris Clancy. Says the Merseyside derby makes for a great culmination to the weekend. Expecting the Reds to keep the unbeaten streak alive and get one step closer to the title. No prizes for guessing who he supports. Good to have listeners in Japan. We had one yesterday in Ukraine. Always nice to know where you are. If you send us a tweet where you're listening. Here's Van Dijk for Liverpool. 18 minutes gone 0-0 in the derby. I think Manchester City will be fairly happy if it were to stay 0-0. They'd, I think, maintain their top spot on goal difference, wouldn't they? City's goal difference plus 56 at the moment. Liverpool's plus 49. And when you think that Tottenham are the next best with plus 26, it just tells you how many goals Liverpool and Manchester City have been rattling in this season.
Well, it's an important fixture this afternoon for that.
That's a good ball by Van Dijk, and it's found Salah, who's kept his feet, and found Henderson. Now it's Fabinho. He's won a title with Monaco, of course, in the past. The cross is by Henderson. It's only half clear. Walcott's not the tallest, and he can't get there, and Origi keeps it alive for Liverpool. Here's Robertson. Origi down the left-hand side. Robinson goes for the cross. He's blocked very quickly by Schneiderlin, and then Alexander-Arnold rather miskicks his pass. It nonetheless finds Robertson. The ball's up in the air. It's all rather untidy at the moment. There's an Everton player gone down, but play continues for Liverpool. And a rather... Well, I was just going to say a rather scrappy piece of play ends with a header back to his goalkeeper by Michael Keane, which is what it was, but goodness me, it wasn't far away from heading it straight at Sadio Mane.
Yeah, it was, he would say a controlled guided header, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Everyone else in the stadium thought it was something that was really, really risky. He's got winded there, Theo Walcott, as he's landed. But again, it just shows that Liverpool are just starting to now just gain a little bit of momentum in this game, and it was a lovely tidy header from Michael Keane, but very, very risky. But going back and if you look at the upcoming fixtures for Liverpool, you know, it's not the worst result to have a draw today against your local rivals. Yes, they'd like to get all three, but it's not the worst result. I mean, between now and the end of the season, you look at, they have Spurs at home, they have Chelsea at home. For me, they're the defining games. They've got Burnley, Fulham, Southampton, Cardiff, Huddersfield, Newcastle, Wolves. That's not a bad running.
No, it isn't.
That's not a bad running.
They've got Borussia Dortmund in the middle of all that, having produced a fantastic... but Bayern Munich, I should say, not Borussia Dortmund. I'm thinking of Tottenham.
I suggest the Premier League, though, is more important. It really is. They have to really get over the line if they can.
Champions League runners-up last week, but I agree with you. I think the one thing that Liverpool fans, as Mane tries to take it on his chest, one of the things that inspires them and brings fear to Manchester United in particular is the idea that Liverpool's title, if they win it this year, would be 19. They'd only be one behind United's all-time record of 20. And I tend to agree with you, because if you're a Liverpool fan, you must be sick of being reminded of how long it's been.
They just have to get that now parked, pushed out of the way. And this is, again, there's the infamous Steven Gerrard slip and then the Chelsea game, and now it's this nerve-wracking run to the end of the season for Liverpool. But there'll be a shock somewhere. There'll be a shock for Liverpool. They won't win every one of those games. Neither will Man City potentially win all their games. So there'll be something somewhere on the line that will change the dynamics.
Although Liverpool have only lost to Manchester City this season. City have had a couple of hiccups. Lost to Leicester, lost to Palace. Tweets still coming in. Emmanuel says Liverpool need to be ready for this, because it seems Everton are not here to joke around. He's listening in Lagos to Talks 913. You're not wrong there. Everton have, as we said, the first 15 minutes probably belong to them, but Liverpool are getting into their stride now. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's a really good run by the young fullback. He's all the way into the box. He clips it in. It hits Zuma and eventually is knocked away by Keane. That was an excellent run forward.
He's like an express train, isn't he? He just drives forward, and that's never handball. No. There's nothing Kurt Zuma can do there. He's kept his arm within his body, if that makes sense.
Backside, really, didn't it? Here's Idrissa Gueye for Everton. Back to Jordan Pickford, all in lime green tonight. Launches it forward with his left foot. You were talking, weren't you, about the differing physicality between the two goalkeepers. Pickford is more slight, he's shorter. Alisson is a big old unit, isn't he?
He's huge, yeah. Oh, good play.
Here's Bernard down the left for Liverpool. Has a look up, gets the cross in towards Theo Walcott, and Andrew Robertson, the Scottish captain, got across, captain of Scotland, not the Scottish captain of Liverpool, obviously Henderson is today, but he got across and got the ball away. Everton fans find their voice. We're midway through the opening half at Goodison Park, where it's goalless still in this final match of the Premier League weekend.
Well, the Liverpool fans are not happy that the young ball boy there has handed
Everton player, hasn't he? Stinio with the long throw. It's headed away by Van Dijk, controlled by Bernard. Bernard clips it forward towards Sigurdsson. Cover from Fabinho. Alexander-Arnold will need to prevent it going for a corner, which he has done. And Liverpool will try and counter here. Was that a push by Idrissa Gueye on Mo Salah? I think a lot of the Liverpool fans thought so. The referee, Martin Atkinson, did not. And it's back with Jordan Pickford, who guides it forward with his left foot up towards Bernard, who's been lively on occasions down that left-hand side, hasn't he?
Yeah, and the only time he drifted in field, and he misplaced the pass. Straight away Liverpool exposed that area and got the ball out to Alexander-Arnold, and he really made ground and got a shot in. So he has to keep his discipline as well. If he drifts to the far side of the field and they lose at Everton, they could be in real trouble.
Ball's gone out of play. Took a clip off Henderson via Lucas Digne, who has scored 3 goals this season. All of them have come from outside the penalty area. The Frenchman, who has won titles with Paris Saint-Germain and Barcelona. Here's Digne again. Henderson once more is close to him, and this time diverts the ball out of play. This is Zuma, who missed the game in midweek against Cardiff after being sent off in the previous match against Watford, which was a feisty affair, of course, with Marco Silva back at Vicarage Road, where he isn't exactly flavour of the month. Watford, of course, beat another former manager today, Brendan Rodgers' first game in charge of Leicester. Andre Gray with a very, very late winner for the Hornets, 2-1 to them. They and Wolves have got a bit of a gap now between the rest. Everton might fancy their chances of joining a potential late flurry towards the Europa League, but there's a 4-point gap now between Wolves and Watford, and West Ham, who won yesterday, further behind on 39. Is the Europa League realistic for Everton? Do you think they've got 37 points,
No.
6 behind? No,
I don't think so. I just think that they're just giving themselves just too much to do. It's been, like I said, indifferent start, and the points difference, as I mentioned, is a disappointing thing for the whole club. Really.
Yes, yeah. I mean, 37 points from 29 games. I mean, that's only 4 better than Crystal Palace, who spent most of the season in a relegation battle. Look as if they're going to get themselves out of it, by the way, after that excellent win at Burnley yesterday. Here's Joel Matip finding Mo Salah, trying to get away from Digne, who looks as if he was trying to tug his shirt there, but Salah's maintained possession, flicks it away across. It's just a touch away by Keane. It'll come for Origi to Mane, back to Origi again. It hits Mane and rebounds back to Fabinho, and then given away rather cheaply by Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool captain. It comes through to Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's all very scrappy at the moment. Neither side able to keep any great possession. And in the end, I think Jordan Henderson quite sensibly decides to let the ball run out of play so that everybody can calm down a little bit and regroup.
Yeah, it's frantic, isn't it? It really is. It's a derby pace that the fans are lending to the frenzy as well, because there's not really been too many moments in the game where either side's taken control of the game and slowed it down and just took their time. That's a poor ball there by Matip. He's just a giveaway.
Quality of the last 5 minutes or so has been pretty poor, hasn't it? I mean, I haven't seen too many really clear-cut chances yet for either side to get ahead. Liverpool have created little or nothing, just that Salah shot that was comfortably held. Here's Theo Walcott, scorer in the past for Arsenal against Liverpool, looking to do so for Everton, but Fabinho's nicked it away from him on the edge of the penalty area. In goes Comis. It's a typical derby, isn't it, at the moment, in the terms of the, it's scrappy, it's hard fought, there are tackles flying in. At the moment there isn't a huge amount of quality.
No, there's not. And, Theo Walcott there, great ball down the line from Seamus Coleman. He got himself in a good position. It's just the final ball, the cross into the box. Not really used to crossing the ball for Arsenal because they didn't do it very often.
Yeah,
they managed to get there. They have to pull it back to the just from the byline.
And walk it in, didn't they?
And when he got Calvert-Lewin there, he wants a ball into the box with quality, and if he does, he's got half a chance. Big chance.
That's a great ball. Here's Mo Salah. It's a wonderful chance for Liverpool to take the lead. It's brilliantly saved by Jordan Pickford. Henderson following up has a shot. It's blocked by Coleman. Well, that was the nearest we've come to a goal by a long, long way today. Mo Salah brilliantly denied by Jordan Pickford, just as Liverpool's fans were prepared to celebrate. It was the Everton fans cheering because their goalkeeper has kept it at 0-0 for them.
Well, I'm not sure what the fullback's doing, but Salah's through, and I'm not sure. I was convinced he was going to score. What I would say, what a great save from Pickford. Stood up as long as needed. Comes into Salah, opens up. Pickford. Oh, Oh, great right hand from him. Then out to Henderson. And a brilliant block from Keane. Jurgen Klopp is disgusted with his star player there.
Did he take too many touches? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Here come Liverpool again. It's Fabinho inside the box. Tries to cut it in. It's only half cleared by Idrissa Gueye. It's out with Origi on the right-hand side now. And Liverpool flagged offside. That's the end of that. Did Salah maybe take a touch too many? I mean, he's good enough, isn't he, to curl it in early, but he seemed to take a second touch.
I think his third touch took him away from goal rather than giving him that opportunity to be central, and certainly more central. He went a little bit wider than he needed to. I'm surprised he didn't use the outside of his right foot and try and use that to shape it past Pickford. But Pickford, credit to him, stayed on his feet as long as he could, and a really strong right hand. And then the follow-up from the Everton players was great as well. And Jurgen Klopp's face and his gesture, he wasn't too happy there. Fabinho then with a chance to pull it back. It's a frustrating couple of minutes for Liverpool.
David W. Dealey is in Arlington, Texas, where he's supporting Everton. He says it's cold, windy and damp. Tell you what, David, put your headphones on, go and stand in your garden, close your eyes, and it wouldn't be too far away from the atmosphere that we've got inside Goodison Park, where it's exactly the same weather. It might be a little bit colder in, I don't know, Texas. Does it get very cold in Texas this time of year?
I've never been.
No, it does in parts of the United States, and usually further north. I guess it's probably nicer in Texas than it is in Liverpool, but anyway, Liverpool have just spurned the best chance of the half by a mile, and their normally reliable striker Mo Salah's slightly worrying barren patch by his high standards continues. Only one goal in 6 prior to today. His last goal came in a 3-0 win against Bournemouth last month. Here's Michael Keane for Everton. Walcott must be offside by a long, long way, and is.
The thing for me, when the ball went through, I wasn't that convinced he was going to score.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it's not what you'd have said last season.
No, or even maybe, the starts. Just something, I don't know, I wasn't convinced that he was going to score in that situation. I mean, you don't get a bad chance in a 1v1, slightly off centre to score. And credit to Pickford, and we must credit Pickford.
Well, he's the second top scorer, Salah, in the Premier League this season, behind Sergio Aguero. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang couldn't increase his tally yesterday with that penalty miss in the North London derby at Wembley late on, which would have won it for Arsenal. But Tottenham Hotspur, well, I mean, as it stands, Liverpool will be 9 points above Spurs. It's too big a gap, surely, for them, and Manchester City would be 10 above Tottenham Hotspur, who I think we can safely say now are probably out of the title race.
They certainly are. But I mentioned about 5 or 10 minutes ago, if Everton lose their shape and get too cavalier, Liverpool will hurt them. Salah will get another opportunity, Mane will, Origi will, and it's the two fullbacks. If they desert their post and try to get forward too soon, they're just not going to get back in time to assist the two centre-backs who will be exposed.
We've had 32 minutes at Goodison, and it remains 0-0. Robina Ibo Denson very kindly says, listening to the best 5-star commentary that contains all the best grammar. Oh, I'm delighted.
That's not often that's been said about me.
Well, I got an A-level in English, so it hasn't all been wasted. He's in Accra in Ghana. Keep up the good work. He says thanks very much indeed for that. I'm very proud of that. You know, people listen to your commentary, and some people like it and some people don't. But if they can applaud your grammar, then that's excellent. Here's Idrissa Gueye, centre midfield for Everton, who try and get forward, but it's blocked by Van Dijk on the edge of the box. Wijnaldum plays a short ball square to Jordan Henderson, who turns and assesses what's going on in front of him. He's being pursued by Sigurdsson at the moment. It's come out to Salah, still inside the Liverpool half. It might open up here a little bit. Fabinho's got a bit of space here, centre midfield, as he crosses halfway and just plays the ball out to Andrew Robertson. Back it comes to Fabinho, and now Joel Matip, the tall, rangy Cameroon centre-half. He still has it, Matip. He's found fellow African Sadio Mane, and now it's Alexander-Arnold. Can't get it past Bernard, and Sigurdsson nips in neatly and wins the ball back for Everton, and then spins away from his man. Sigurdsson, you mentioned Alan as a potential thorn in Liverpool's side. But that was a poor, wasteful ball by Michael Keane out wide, and instead of meeting its target, it rolled out of play just in front of Marco Silva, the Everton manager, who's gesticulating wildly.
I just think with Sigurdsson, he'll get one opportunity on the edge of the box where he'll be able to manoeuvre the ball and get a chance to get one of his shots in, and he's generally pretty lethal. And I think there's always one opportunity for him in the game. It's whether he's clinical today or not.
Here's Alexander-Arnold finding Joel Matip, who's had spells out injured this season, but given the injury problems that Liverpool have with the likes of Lovren and Gomez out, it's been a useful comeback. Here's Salah into the Everton penalty area. Clever play by Salah into the near post. Wijnaldum was trying to spin and shoot, but not allowed to because Michael Keane got in, stuck out a foot and diverted it behind. It's going to be a corner to Liverpool. That was good from Salah, but couldn't quite tee up Wijnaldum, who took a touch, but Keane did well to close it down. It's another Liverpool corner. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Trent Alexander-Arnold. They've all been on this near side, so it's going to be an outswinger once again from the right-footed right back. In fact, it's not. It's going to be a short one to Henderson, who finds Fabinho. Fabinho just manoeuvres his way infield, thinks about a shot, or rather hits Salah and comes back. Andrew Robertson's the last man back for Liverpool, virtually on the centre spot as he finds Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold has a really good ball to Virgil van Dijk, who controls it well, teases it in. It's missed kick by Zuma, but he was being held by Divock Origi, and it's going to be a free kick to Everton.
And a wry smile then from Origi. He realised he just pulled the shirt of Kurt Zuma there. Lovely ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Big diagonal ball out to Virgil van Dijk, who calmly chested it down and just played it into a good area. Just where the foul was committed. I was surprised that the corner didn't come in actually directly into the box, and I certainly think Van Dijk was a little bit annoyed that it didn't go in there. They tried to work a short corner, it didn't quite work for Liverpool, but got a second opportunity. But it's a fairly evenly poised game. Obviously Liverpool had the best chance of the game so far with Salah 1v1, but Everton have done themselves proud so far within the game. Just need to keep this intensity up, and you just wonder whether they have the energy, whether they have the substitutes to come onto the pitch to make a difference as well.
A meteorological update for you. James Downing has tweeted to say, yes, it does get cold in Texas. It was 30 degrees, no, that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just below freezing for the MLS opener between FC Dallas and New England Revolution yesterday. So Texans are not entirely spoilt with the weather. Thanks for that info. It's always interesting to know.
It'll soon warm up.
But it's nicer there than Liverpool in the summer, that's for sure. Anyway, long ball forward by Pickford, header away by Van Dijk. Wijnaldum finds Fabinho, who cleverly gets beyond Gay, and then plays a useful looking ball for Divock Origi to chase. Seamus Coleman should get there first. Plays it back to Pickford, who's made one stupendous save to deny Mo Salah in a first half which thus far hasn't really seen an awful lot of frantic goal-mouth action. It's all been in midfield really. Either side really able to get in behind in the final third thus far.
No, I think Schneiderlin's done quite a good job so far. He's at a really indifferent time at Everton since his move from Manchester United. Hasn't found the form he had since his days at Southampton. I'd like to see Idrissa Gueye maybe play one or two more forward passes. You know, he plays very safe, plays to Coleman. Calvert-Lewin's having to try to deal with Virgil van Dijk, who's bullying him at the moment in terms of winning headers. I'd like to see a little bit more from him. Walcott with the chance.
Walcott, he's done well. He's bearing it on goal. He's under a little bit of pressure from Robertson, and he didn't really get his shot away the way he wanted it to have done. It was his right foot. It was a difficult angle. He hit it hard enough, but there was no direction to it. and it went a long way wide. But in a game of few chances, that certainly was one for Everton.
Yeah, his first touch wasn't a great touch. It was under his feet. He then had to try and manoeuvre and try and work a shot, and I think he was hoping the Liverpool player might catch him up and maybe foul him just as he draws his leg back to shoot. We might have clipped him, but his first touch let him down.
Still goalless then, with 6.5 minutes left of the opening half. I don't think there's going to be too much stoppage time. We haven't had any hold-ups really. Here's Matip back to Alisson, the goalkeeper, who is all in yellow today. 26-year-old Brazilian, ever present in the Liverpool Premier League starting lineups this season. Interception by Zuma, getting across strongly to make sure that long ball down the line didn't reach Jordan Henderson. Liverpool have a throw in. It's taken quickly, and Matip plays it square to Van Dijk. Now Robertson on the far side. Virgil van Dijk again. Of course, Van Dijk got his Liverpool career off to the best possible start. He scored a winner in a Merseyside derby cup tie against Everton just over a year ago. All down the line towards Salah, put away by Digne. No, Salah seeing the ball go out of play about 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to take the throw. In it comes to Henderson. Henderson toe-backs it across, and Wijnaldum keeps it alive for Liverpool, and then Fabinho finds Van Dijk. We're into the last 5 minutes of the opening half. Here's Henderson to Alexander-Arnold. Henderson's continued his run, and Alexander-Arnold has found him, and back it is with Alexander-Arnold again. Crosses too close to Pickford. It's an easy claim for the Everton and England goalkeeper. Long kick by him. Van Dijk gets his header away. Up goes Wijnaldum. Again, it's rather scrappy. The ball is hoisted by Matip. Walcott doesn't get a particularly telling touch, and Van Dijk will just roll it back to his goalkeeper.
Well, there's certainly been a tactical ploy by Everton. Is as soon as Pickford gets it, they're going to kick it long and hope that Calvert-Lewin can get on the end of something, but he's failed so far to do that.
Yes. Here's Salah. Not really a centre-forward, Calvert-Lewin, naturally, is he? Here's Robertson. Far side into the box. Great delivery! And Alexander-Arnold was denied by Kurt Zuma. Alexander-Arnold was just waiting for that ball to drop and volley it into the net, but he wasn't able to do that because Zuma was in the way and just managed to scrape it away.
Again, just the fullback got caught the pitch. Digne, he's not in the right position once the ball is being lost, but he somehow managed to get back. Zuma then cleared the header.
Yeah, it was Digne who got the
he just got
touch,
there, but that
in front of him.
If he like I said, if he gets too cavalier, Liverpool are going to hurt them eventually. And as much as I admire his spirit to get forward, you know, he's leaving big gaps open, and there's the last thing you can do and should do, particularly against Liverpool at home and with the three front men they've got, and particularly Salah, who he's up against directly. He's got to be very, very careful because he could get punished.
Pickford's long ball forward towards Calvert-Lewin, who can't climb and get any contact. He's gone out of play on the far side. It's still goalless in the 200th meeting between these two clubs in league football. Liverpool protecting an 8-match unbeaten run. It's forgotten, I suppose. They had those draws which have people questioning potentially their credentials, but 4 wins and 4 draws from their last 8 games, and the 5-0 win at Anfield on Wednesday was their biggest win of the season. Drawn their last 2 away games at West Ham and Manchester United. The only defeat on the road, their only defeat all season was at the Etihad against Manchester City 2-1 in early January. Here's Salah. Liverpool look to try and finish off the half with a positive note, but Everton have cleared. Here's Matip again driving forward. Was he clipped there by Schneiderlin? He was. Well, Schneiderlin, the former Southampton and Manchester United player, is furious that Martin Atkinson blew his whistle there. We're going to have another look at it. I think there was just a little bit of contact.
It was minimal, if anything. Maybe a slight touch, just a slight touch. Very hard to pick up in real time, but Martin Atkinson was right on the spot there.
He was. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Liverpool have a free kick midway inside the Everton half. Trent Alexander-Arnold, by contrast to his performance in midweek, hasn't quite got his set pieces right yet, has he? Robertson is also standing over it. Robertson, of course, is a left-footed player, and the ball is slightly to the left. He might try and swirl it in. Van Dijk is hovering on the edge of the box, so too is Matip. Here's the delivery. Here's Van Dijk, and his header, well, it went off the top of his head and a long way wide. He was never able to get it anywhere near on target. It was Robertson who delivered. That's a tactic, though. You actually spotted that, didn't you? You were pointing.
Well, it was fairly obvious, wasn't it? And I'm not sure whether Kurt Zuma was really thinking, well, it's going to come this way. For me, it was fairly obvious, you know. They were looking to get a block there as well, which would allow then Van Dijk a little bit more room. Joe Matip missed out on blocking one of the Everton players, and I think the ball was slightly overhit. But really important now, a few minutes for Everton just to get to half-time at 0-0.
Final minute of the 45. Pickford launches it forward. He's launched it straight out of play, actually, with his left foot. It wasn't a particularly good clearance by Jordan Pickford, who celebrates his 25th birthday on Thursday. Liverpool take the throw right on halfway, nodded away by Coleman, picked up by Mane, who goes over under a challenge from Idrissa Gueye, which is deemed illegal by the referee. It's going to be a free kick to Liverpool just inside the Everton half on the far side off the field. Here's Van Dijk. Now Matip, who looks keen on having the occasional drive upfield with those long legs. He's got it again here on halfway, but he's jockeying for position in the end. He's gone all the way back to his goalkeeper, Alisson. He'll be happier at half-time if it's a goal. It's presumably Everton, who it's been a long time since they beat Liverpool, so I suppose to get to half-time without conceding is a bonus, or would be. Here's Van Dijk crossing halfway. Might not be that conclusion, although only got a minute to be added on at the end of the first half. Ball is very deep and long and diagonal and too far in front of Trent Alexander-Arnold, wearing his white boots today. Jurgen Klopp just turns away in a somewhat frustrated manner. Just a reminder that if this team does finish level, Manchester City will go into the next round of fixtures with 71 points, and of course with 29 played in the Premier League now, we're down to single figures in terms of the number of games left. So at both ends of the table, we're if it was a marathon, the stadium would be in sight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly would. And half-time.
Half-time, whistle blown by Martin Atkinson. The big moment of the half, really, a brilliant save by Jordan Pickford to deny Mo Salah a goal for Liverpool. Other than that, it's been frenetic, it's been very well contested, but neither side really has looked like grabbing the lead other than that Salah chance. At half-time at Goodison Park, it is Everton 0, Liverpool 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot. What a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the Preview Show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the Preview Show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the Preview Show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Welcome back. It's half-time at Goodison Park. And it's goalless in this one. These were the highlights of the opening 45 minutes. Calvert-Lewin for Everton. It might come through to Sigurdsson. Chance. Sigurdsson tries to cut it across to Theo Walcott, and Virgil van Dijk was stationed in exactly the right place to make sure the ball didn't reach Walcott. Salah again inside the Everton box. Swirling shot. Doesn't get quite enough swirl on it. In the end, it's an easy catch for Jordan Pickford.
Oh, big chance.
That's a great ball. Here's Mo Salah. It's a wonderful chance for Liverpool to take the lead. It's brilliantly saved by Jordan Pickford. Henderson following up has a shot. It's blocked by Coleman. Just as Liverpool's fans were prepared to celebrate, it was the Everton fans cheering because their goalkeeper has kept it at 0-0 for them.
Well, I'm not sure what the fullback's doing, but Salah's through, and I'm not sure. I was convinced he was going to score. What I would say, what a great save from Pickford. Walcott with a chance.
Walcott, he's done well. He's bearing it on goal. Under a little bit of pressure from Robertson, and he didn't really get his shot away the way he would wanted it to have done. It was his right foot. It was a difficult angle. He hit it hard enough, but there was no direction to it. Well, those were the highlights of the first half. No doubt about the key moment, really. It was the Pickford save from Mo Salah. What will Jurgen Klopp be making of this at the moment? Imagine he was hopping around a little bit on the sidelines. He didn't look terribly impressed with what he'd seen.
Well, these are, really important half-time analysis of the half. How I go out motivating my players. Do I go in and give them a real volley at them? Am I calm? What approach do I take out of the game? They haven't quite done enough in the last third. They've only created 2 chances in that half. You'd expect a little bit more. Everton really not causing any problems from them at the back, and he'll be looking for a little bit more sharpness, a little bit more interplay, and just be a little bit more, particularly set pieces as well. It's not been great. The crosses haven't been great, so they haven't really got going, but they're still in the game, and they still look the more likely team to score and be a threat.
They've got options on the bench, haven't they? Firmino is fit enough to rejoin the matchday squad. Lallana is a cultured player in midfield, and Xherdan Shaqiri, of course, is also capable of great things, as we saw against Manchester United.
Well, that's right. Sadio Mane at the moment hasn't done too much in the game. Played as that central striker, caused lots of problems the other evening against Watford. Mo Salah out on the right again. he's had lots of the ball. Still looks a little bit out of sorts for me.
Yeah, he does.
So it's, I mean, I don't think he will take him off, but I think Firmino will come on at some point and add something different. And he's been away for a few games now, been injured, and been chomping at the bit to get out there. But at the moment, they'll be quite content. They haven't really hit the heights of Liverpool. There's a little bit more to come certainly from Liverpool in that half. And Everton just need to do a little bit more in the last third of the pitch in terms of Calvert-Lewin. They're looking to go long when they can, and it's not quite working at the moment for them, but they'll be more than happy with a point. But as you know, Liverpool will be desperate for the 3. But if they have to settle for a point, they have to. Simple as that.
These sort of 1-0 away wins when you don't play particularly well are seen as the hallmark of champions. So I mean, Liverpool won't mind too much if they nick a goal and claim the 3 points, because at the end of the day, that could be the defining difference between themselves and Manchester City when it comes to May the 12th.
That's right, and Everton only created one half chance, and that was Walcott when he was put through. He didn't get the ball out of his feet. He didn't give himself a chance to get the shot away properly. So certainly the manager Jurgen Klopp knows there's a little bit more, but I think he'll be confident in the second half if they can just get an extra 5 or 6% out of every player on the pitch. They should go on and win the game with the quality they have. But that's not to say that Everton are not a threat at times. And certainly if they can get Bernard higher up the pitch, involved in trickery in and around the box. But I just worry about Everton's shape when they're so keen to get forward, they leave big gaps, and that's where Liverpool can really hurt you.
They've lost 9 of their last 14 games in all competitions, Everton, but to be fair, they haven't looked that bad in the first half, and I'd imagine Marco Silva will be reasonably happy with what he's seen.
Yeah, he will be. Schneidlin and Idrissa Gueye have marshalled that central area quite well, but it's the wide areas that are causing certainly Everton 1 or 2 problems, particularly Lucas Digne, as I've mentioned 3 or 4 times now in the commentary, getting forward too quickly. Seamus Coleman dealing pretty well with Origi on the left hand side. So overall he'd be happy, but certainly the guys that work in the analysis and the guys that are looking at things will just have to sharpen things up at half time if they're going to come away with any sort of result today, Everton.
Well, this is the third of 3 games today. Scott Parker made his managerial debut, albeit as a caretaker for Fulham following the sacking of Claudio Ranieri. It was a difficult opening game for him at home to West London rivals Chelsea. It ended up with Fulham losing by 2-1. Higuain and Jorginho got the goals for Chelsea. Callum Chambers in between scored for Fulham. Let's get the thoughts of Scott Parker, who believes that survival is still possible if they play like they did today.
Listen, we've got some tough fixtures coming up. My voice in the change room, my voice around the team has been forget relegation and let's focus on bringing some sort of credibility back. And no doubt, probably over the next course of time, that's going to have to change a little bit. We're mathematically still in it. We've got some fixtures, good fixtures coming up. But listen, if we perform like we did at times today and showed the effort and commitment we did, we may have a little tiny chance.
That was Scott Parker. All the best to him in his managerial career. It'll be interesting to see whether he gets the job full time. Don't think anyone expects Fulham to stay up, but if he does perform creditably, the job might well be his. Well, what a difference a week makes. This time last week, Maurizio Sarri, the Chelsea boss, was being castigated after that extraordinary set 2 with Kepa Arrizabalaga. The goalkeeper was restored to the Chelsea lineup today, and following on from a victory over Tottenham, it was another derby win for Chelsea. Sarri says that the Europa League or a top 4 place, i.e. winning the Europa League and getting into the Champions League by that route, is an important thing for Chelsea.
The Europa League, I think that for us is a very important competition because it's the second competition in Europe. It's a very important trophy. And then we need to consider that in Europa League there is another spot for the Champions League. So in our minds, I think that we need to have 2 targets.
I think he's probably feeling a little bit better on Sunday afternoon than he was at Wembley last week when he lost on penalties to Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. There was a previous game, 12 o'clock kickoff at Vicarage Road, and Scott Parker wasn't the only boss making his managerial debut with a new club, although of course Brendan Rodgers is no stranger to the Premier League. He moved down from Celtic to take over at Leicester and was beaten in his opening game by one of his former clubs. Watford, Troy Deeney with a header putting the Hornets up. Goal up very early. Jamie Vardy equalised 15 minutes from time, but a splendidly taken, very, very late goal in stoppage time by Andre Gray meant that Leicester lost by 2-1. Here at Goodison Park, it is goalless at half-time, and we've got the whole of the second half coming up. You're listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much. Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million Predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot. What a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester.
Vardy chance, Vardy goal. Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Everton against Liverpool from Goodison Park. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former Republic of Ireland midfielder, Alan McLaughlin. This is Premier League Live. The music you can hear is the theme from a 1960s police series called Z Cars, which
you should love watching that.
Yeah, it's a good series. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember it. I am. You're old enough to remember it as well.
About, yeah.
No good having a go at me. But it's the traditional music that Everton arrive to at the start and at the midpoint of games. There's a heated conversation actually going on between the Liverpool players who've come out ahead of Everton, between Jordan Henderson, the captain, and Mo Salah, who had the best opportunity to break the deadlock in the first half. Everton arriving now. I don't think there are any substitutions yet at half time. The floodlights are on at Goodison Park, a great old traditional ground, and maybe you could argue that it's not quite state of the art, but it has a great history. They played games here during the 1966 World Cup. I think I'm right in saying that Eusebio scored 4 against, was it North Korea here, wasn't it? They were 3-0 down and won 5-3. There's a big church behind the back of the Gladys Street end, which is where most of the most vociferous Everton fans are located, and they're never more vociferous than when they're facing today's opponents, Liverpool. Martin Atkinson is about to get us underway for the second half. Everton, who've lost their last 2 home games, will be relatively happy, you'd think, with a point. Liverpool probably less so. So it'll be a big 45 minutes here. Manchester City fans will be looking on as well, as the first ball forward by Everton is a rather aimless one. As I said, no changes, so Everton have Jordan Pickford in goal, a back four of Seamus Coleman, Michael Keane, Kurt Zouma and Lucas Digne. Then it's Morgan Schneiderlin and Idrissa Gueye Holding. In front of them, Theo Walcott, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Bernard. The front man is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Liverpool have Alisson in goal. Their back four is Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, Virgil van Dijk and Andrew Robertson. Midfield three of Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Gino Wijnaldum, and the front three is Mohamed Salah, Divock Origi and Sadio Mane. We've just had a picture on our monitor. Roberto Firmino is on the bench and has been presented with one of his children, I think, by his wife, and I don't think that's terribly professional, do you? When the game's in progress and you're on the bench, you shouldn't really be cuddling a baby, should you? However much you care about that child.
Well, he's
at work.
He was quite happy to take the picture on, and quite relaxed chappy, isn't he?
Was it his baby or someone else's? I don't know. It might have been, to be fair, it might have been someone else's baby who wanted a picture. If I was Jurgen Klopp, I wouldn't be too impressed with that, would you?
I think Jurgen had his eyes on the game, fixed firmly on the game.
Firmino should have done as well. Anyway, we are back in the game. Minute and a half of the second period gone. Klopp hasn't been quite as animated as he sometimes is. That's been that much to get animated about, has there? He was obviously willing Mo Salah to convert that chance that fell to him so invitingly in the first half, but was foiled by Pickford. Up it goes from Lucas Digne, a header away by Matip, goes square. Fabinho gets his head to the ball and he's collided with Theo Walcott, I think, gone down in the centre circle, and Martin Atkinson has just stopped the game. I think there was worry that it might be a head injury. I think Fabinho's okay.
Well, one player who didn't really feature in the first half was Wijnaldum. He didn't
very
touch
quiet.
The ball, really. I mean, he held his shape, he did his job for the team. That's a good ball from Van Dijk.
Origi is out wide, looking to take on Coleman. He's done that. Origi cuts it back in, swept away by Schneiderlin. Only as far as Van Dijk. Good first touch by him to find Robertson. Robertson into the Everton penalty area, away by Zouma. Well-directed header too, because it's fallen at the feet of teammate Bernard, who does well to find Schneiderlin. Everton looking to counter here. Schneiderlin, never the most attack-minded of midfield players. And the ball eventually is scraped away by Trent Alexander-Arnold for a throw-in to Everton, who, as I mentioned prior to the kick-off, haven't won in 24 games against the so-called top six or big six teams. That was an emphatic win. I remember I did commentary on that. It was 4-0 against Manchester City here a couple of years ago. Ademola Lookman came on and scored virtually with his first touch. Here's ball down the line towards Coleman. Van Dijk defends it well. Origi's very deep and finds Robertson. Robertson with a bouncing ball finds Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum up towards Mane. Clearing header though by Keane. Here's Idrissa Gueye for Everton. And Keane again will launch it upfield for the Toffees. And Van Dijk is up there above Theo Walcott to get the header clear.
Well, he's been very good at Virgil van Dijk. He's headed every ball that's come forward. He's read every situation.
Here's Coleman. It's just gone behind him, and Fabinho is there just to hoof it away. There's a few words there between Fabinho and Coleman, which didn't seem to be particularly friendly.
Well, Fabinho's picked up the dialect pretty well there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He certainly understands one or two words that you need to understand in heated situations.
A Brazilian haranguing an Irishman. Here's Sigurdsson, good cross! Away for Liverpool though. by Alexander-Arnold just for a moment. That would be a useful delivery from the flank by Everton. Here's Zuma having to hook it away from Mane. It's gone out of play near side.
I just wondered whether Zuma, I mean, he's got round and covered quite well there, but I'm sure he could get the ball back to Pickford there. He just cleared it into the stand. But it's been a lively second start to the second half, as it was in the first half, with no real pattern to the game. Just a lot of hot air at the moment, with little quality apart from just there.
Alexander-Arnold initially very good. He got round his man cleverly, but then he put too much weight on the pass and it went rolling in front of Mo Salah. More frustration for Jurgen Klopp. Will Floyd Evans is listening to us in Columbia, South Carolina, USA, screaming for a Toffees victory. Olawale in Nigeria. Game has been awesome so far. My money's on the Toffees, so that's another one hoping that Everton get the win. There'll be a few Manchester City fans looking on who'll be hoping for exactly the same thing. That's a very loose ball by Liverpool. Here's Walcott. Walcott just outside the Liverpool penalty area finds Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson with a step over, still has possession. He spotted Coleman. Coleman's delivery into the near post. Van Dijk is there and hoofs it away on the volley, and Everton will have the first corner of the second half. It was initially Liverpool who threw away possession that led to that Everton opening.
Yeah, so first corner of the second half for Everton. They only had one corner in the first half. That just told you how things went. And again, it's Sigurdsson. This is where he's best. He's on the edge of the box, just creating a little bit of space. Good awareness, good ball in. And Van Dijk with a vital clearance.
It was Fabinho's initial error with the loose crossfield ball. It's an opportunity for Everton, as you say, their second corner. It's going to be an in-swinger off the left boot of Lucas Digne. Up they go, good header, great save. I think it might have been Keane who rose. It was one of the tall defenders, and it was caught by Alisson on the bounce. Probably the most testing save he's had to make so far. At the other end, Liverpool looked to spring a counter-attack, and Idrissa Gueye has been penalised for bringing down Sadio Mane. So action at both ends of the field.
And again, the referee's right on the spot. Probably the best corner in. And it was Calvert-Lewin with the header, and he was a little bit unlucky. He was trying to. It was just dipping down in front of him. It wasn't at a height that he could go and meet. It was just slightly below him. He's dipped down to try to headed it into the ground, and it was an easy save in the end. But a decent ball in. Yep.
Scored the third goal against Cardiff in midweek. Dominic Calvert-Lewin to take his season's tally to 7. It's Everton's defenders who need to be on their toes here, because Liverpool have a free kick in a fairly central possession. Trent Alexander-Arnold can certainly hit these, although it might be a little bit too far out for an attempt on goal. It's Alexander-Arnold. He has gone for goal, and the distance beats him, really. It was gathered pretty safely by Jordan Pickford, who just had to stoop down and get both arms round the ball.
Yeah, he's seen that all the way. It wasn't the best connection. Certainly from distance, it was a fairly long way out. But Pickford's looked confident so far. And again, the confidence of the young man, Alexander-Arnold, to take that opportunity. Certainly above some senior players as well. Yeah. And he's got the confidence to do it.
Scored a magnificent free kick against Watford in a 3-0 win earlier this season, and we saw against the same side on Wednesday night just how good he is with that right foot. Here's Walcott forward for Everton, finding Calvert-Lewin, can't quite return the compliment. It's intercepted by Liverpool. It's still a frantic derby, but one that's still slightly lacking in quality, I would say. We've had nearly 10 minutes of the second period. It stays 0-0. Of course, it was 0-0 at Anfield in this fixture, right until stoppage time, when Divock Origi scored a rather bizarre goal when the ball bounced off the crossbar and he headed it in beyond Pickford, who had to take a little bit of the blame, I think, for that, but he's been excellent today. Pickford, the ball's at his feet now, and he drives it, or chips it out towards the touchline. Salah is tackled by Zuma, and James Milner is warming up for Liverpool. Started the game against Watford. He was dropped to the bench in favour of Henderson today, and Henderson's played a good ball forward to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum in turn picks out Divock Origi. Origi inside the box, gets the shot in, trying to beat Pickford at his near post, but he scraped it past that post and wide. He's claiming there was a deflection. I'm not sure there was. I think the referee agrees. And flurry of substitutes warming up now. Roberto Firmino is among them for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think if they want to go and certainly get a goal, you're probably looking at taking up Origi, who's done okay in terms of he's playing in slightly unfamiliar position for him out on that left-hand side. I think Mane will go out to the left-hand side, and Firmino will come on up front for them. Yeah,
he hasn't scored as many as the other three. Firmino, the other two, I should say, Salah and Mane. But you just think they're a better force when they're together, aren't they? And Firmino's often the player who makes the runs, creates the space, and makes it happen in a lot of ways.
And plus, he's more used to playing as a central centre forward. Mane's not quite. That's a good run from Matip.
So poking it forward, it'll come through to Salah, and he's missed again. It's another golden opportunity for Mohamed Salah to put Liverpool ahead, and for the second time in the match, 1-on-1. He's managed to miss. I think Michael Keane managed to scrape it away. It was a brilliant tackle actually by Keane. And once again, a little bit of a heavy touch by Salah. And when he tried to toe poke it, Keane got his foot in first, and it's a Liverpool corner, but that was a real chance for the Reds, and yet again it's been spurned by the fella who's normally the main man.
You're right, you were spot on with your assessment there, John. It was a poor touch from him, and he's normally lethal there.
Alexander-Arnold's corner, an outswinger, up they go. Matip and Van Dijk rather got in each other's way, and the ball ended up being volleyed out of harm's way by Idrissa Gueye. Alisson comes out of his box to launch it back from whence it came, up towards Divock Origi, who controls well on his thigh, comes infield, almost gets the ball through to Salah. Not able to. Salah's wait for his 50th Premier League Liverpool goal goes on. Meanwhile, here's Bernard trying to get Everton going. It's opened up a little bit, this one, in the last few minutes. Here's Idrissa Gueye under pressure from Salah, just wriggles away from him. He's got a man down the wide left. It was Coleman, he can't find it. The ball instead goes to Alisson, who knocks it up towards halfway, and Seamus Coleman will just clip it back to Michael Keane, whose tackle was a wonderful one, wasn't it, on Sam, notwithstanding the fact that it was a poor touch by Salah initially. It was a brilliant tackle by Keane.
Well, it was a great tackle, but the key for Everton there, he didn't give up on the situation, because you've seen some defenders sometimes just give up and say he's going to score. But again, it's that little lack of belief from Salah. Just when it was needed to, the touch was he's touched it inside rather than outside, and by touching it inside, it just allowed Keane the ability and the time, but the effort and the resilience to get over and try and get that.
The atmosphere's just beginning to crackle a little bit more as Richarlison receives instructions from Marco Silva and Duncan Ferguson over in the dugouts. He's going to come on in just a moment, the Brazilian. Chip down the line towards Calvert-Lewin, intercepted by Matip. Bello Monsuru Omowes says he's in Lagos. This is a game Liverpool must not drop points if they want to win the title, because their hopes would rest on other teams, and he's sure that Manchester City will not let the league go if Liverpool start dropping points. I think that's probably a fair assessment. Haven't shown too many signs of weakness recently, City, have they?
No, they haven't, and they obviously, their big two games are Tottenham at home and Manchester United away, really in the running. The rest are fairly winnable games in terms of the opposition. Substitution for Everton.
Theo Walcott is coming off, and Richarlison, the 21-year-old Brazilian they signed from Watford at the end of last season. He's their second top scorer now with 11, having been overtaken by Gylfi Sigurdsson's double against Cardiff. Roberto Firmino is about to come on, and I think James Milner as well for Liverpool in just a moment. Here's Schneiderlin finding Digne. Now Schneiderlin again. Sigurdsson is onside. No, he's not. Thought he was. He turned in the box ready to cross, and then looked up and saw the flag being brandished on this near side by the assistant referee. Just Looking again at the chance for Salah. It came off Zuma, broke for him. And again, the touch was too heavy, and that was what allowed Keane to get in and make a challenge. But it had to be well timed, didn't it? Otherwise, it would have been a penalty if he'd missed the ball.
Fantastic challenge, and Jurgen Klopp looks a little bit frustrated at the moment. I'm sure the Liverpool fans are getting a little bit nervous, but there's still plenty of time. There's still the opportunities will come. And I suspect maybe one or two more for Liverpool than Everton. Richarlison on this right-hand side. Theo Walcott flattered to deceive once again for Everton. Really hasn't found the form from a few years ago for me, where he was an exciting player. You're just not quite sure what you're getting from here on a week-to-week basis.
Free kick to Everton. Just over an hour gone. Van Dijk heads it away. Drops for Digne, and now it's with Coleman tussling with Origi. Coleman wins that particular battle and finds Schneiderlin. Back it goes to Michael Keane, who drives it forward. That's a lovely back heel by Calvert-Lewin. Coleman, though, can't get there. Van Dijk showed his quality once more, read the situation quickly and got across and managed to nick the ball out of play. But Everton are in an advanced position here. They're about 10 yards from the corner flag on the near side with his throw. Richarlison gets his first touch and then goes over, having had his second. Everton win back possession with Richarlison. He's right by the corner flag and cleverly turns and flicks the ball off Origi to win Everton a corner, which is rapturously received by their supporters at Goodison Park.
Yeah, they're just starting to believe now, the Everton fans. They think there's something their team can grab from this game. Keane, Zuma, the quality of the last corner was very good. Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, they have some height now in there. Sigurdsson will be looking around, trying to sneak an opportunity, try and get a second ball that drops down in the box.
In swinging corner then from Lucas Digne with his left foot. It's met strongly in the box. It's gone up and over the crossbar there. I think Zuma got the touch, and that will allow Liverpool to make their substitutions. And Firmino and Milner, as we mentioned before, are both going to come on in a double switch by Jurgen Klopp. Milner, hugely experienced, of course. Firmino is going to replace Divock Origi, as you predicted, Alan. Firmino, who's just come back from an ankle injury, and so the triumvirate up front of Salah, Mane and Firmino are reunited. James Milner also on the field, and they've got a fair amount of time to make an impression as well. Some 28 minutes to go. Here's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's gone close with a header for Everton in this second half. Poor ball by Richarlison, though. Milner gets his first touch and plays it back to Andrew Robertson, who finds Alisson Becker, to give him his full name, the Brazilian. Well, it's probably not his full name. They usually have about 4 names, don't they, the Brazilians, but it's 2 of them. Here's Michael Keane. Back to Jordan Pickford, who twice has had Mo Salah bearing down on him. First time he made a brilliant save, the second time his teammate Michael Keane made an excellent clearance. Mansur Mohammed firmly believes that Liverpool will nick the 3 points in this match. Everton have had more of the possession in the last 10 minutes, though, 64% of it. Dennis Gabadko says he thinks cuddling a baby anywhere is an awesome thing to do, so fair enough. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a grumpy old man.
Thankfully he hasn't brought the baby onto the pitch with him, so...
No, I'm not a fan of babies joining trophy presentations either. Anyway, here's Mo Salah. He's got Mane and Firmino for company. Here's Roberto Firmino just on the pitch, into the box. Mane with the header, couldn't direct it goalwards. He's nodded it across the edge of the 6-yard box. It's taken a bounce, and Pickford has gathered it, but Firmino, well, having an instant impact.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Salah on the drive into the box, and he just slightly overhit, and he's done everything in his power, Mane, to head it back towards the far post, but he was always stretching for it. and he's just electric pace there. And again, there's that central figure in Firmino. It's interesting actually. I've just noticed they're keeping Mane as that central striker, and that is quite surprising for me. I think him operating on the right hand side, Firmino down the middle, for me would be a little bit better way to go. But listen, I'm not Jurgen Klopp.
20 minutes gone in the second half. It remains Everton 0, Liverpool 0 in the 233rd Merseyside derby in all competitions. Lucas Digne has the ball in his hands. He generally fancies a long throw. That's what he's provided. It's flicked on by Kurt Zouma, but nowhere in particular. And Alisson will just gather the ball. He's pushed Sigurdsson out of the way. I really felt Sigurdsson was standing too close to him. Eventually the ball comes out to Van Dijk, who finds James Milner. Milner looking to pick out Robertson, but it's intercepted by Everton. Richarlison plays a really good ball down the right for Coleman. Coleman goes for the early ball in, looking for Calvert-Lewin. And how many times have we said this afternoon? Virgil van Dijk is in exactly the right place to deal with that.
Yeah, he's been magnificent so far for Liverpool. He's headed every ball, he's read every situation up to now. But Everton are finding a little bit of rhythm at the moment, just disturbing Liverpool's ability to try and...
Here's Schneiderlin with a cross. It's a useful looking one. It flashed across the 18-yard box and went away on the far side. Lucas Digne sends it back in, and there's a header from Richarlison. And the header lacks power and is very straightforward. So he scored a couple of goals in his last recent games. Richarlison he seems to start seasons well, doesn't he, and then fade away. He did that at Watford last season. Here's Robertson into Firmino, who's added some life to Liverpool's attacking options. Here's Milner, switches it beautifully across to the far side where Trent Alexander-Arnold controls it. Hits a low ball into the box. Mo Salah has it and still toe pokes it back, and in it comes towards Mane, but that's cool defending by Seamus Coleman, who just turned and chested the ball back to his goalkeeper after the looping ball into the box. And no harm done as far as Everton are concerned. We're midway through the second half. Still awaiting a goal in this derby. We had a thrilling conclusion to the North London derby yesterday with some controversial penalty decisions, and one scored by Harry Kane, one missed by Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and a red card for Lucas Torreira. The quality and the entertainment probably hasn't been as good on Merseyside as it was in North London yesterday, but there's still all to play for as Sadio Mane plays an early ball to Mo Salah. Salah uses his pace to get across to the left-hand side, where he plays a diagonal ball to James Milner. Milner tries to shoot. I think that took a deflection. It's going to be a corner to Liverpool, and it's the red half of Merseyside that you can hear busting their lungs at the moment as Liverpool get a corner.
Well, it's certainly end-to-end stuff at the moment. No one at the moment has found that real bit of quality, but it's not lacking in, certainly not in endeavour. Everyone's trying to desperately get a winner, particularly Liverpool. Milner's come on and had a little bit more calmness, a bit more safe play from Liverpool at times.
He's taken the corner short. It's gone to Henderson, who finds Robertson. Robertson straight down the middle towards Van Dijk. Chance for Fabinho, and another wonderful tackle by Everton. This time from Lucas Digne to deny Fabinho a goal. Everton have defended well when they've been under real pressure today. Fabinho controlled it on his thigh. It was a little bit heavy again, rather like Salah before him, and Digne arrived from nowhere to hook it behind for another Liverpool corner. The temperature has risen. Here's the corner, outswinger towards Matip, cleared by Everton, back in by Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's Van Dijk. The ball is loose, but there's an infringement, and Liverpool's little sortie into the Everton penalty area comes to an end.
Well, what I would say that with the three clear chances that Liverpool have had, Fabinho there, Mo Salah twice, it's been their first touches, has really let him down. Fabinho there, he's just not expecting it. He should have been a lighter touch, and Jurgen Klopp must be so frustrated. But again, credit to the Everton players not giving up on the situation, getting around the Liverpool players to deny him that opportunity. I wonder if Liverpool will rue these misses.
Yeah, I'm sure they will do if it ends 0-0. Another clean sheet may not be that much consolation to Liverpool supporters. Ball is knocked forward by them though. Sadio Mane shields it away. It drops for James Milner midway inside the Everton half. Here's Firmino. Back to Milner. Milner's peeled away left hand side. Wants it on his right foot to get the cross in. In it comes. There's the header. It's Robertson. They're claiming a foul on Henderson. Nothing given. Milner shoots. It hits Schneiderlin. It's really frantic now, this derby. And Fabinho is bundled over by his compatriot Richarlison, and it's a free kick with 20 minutes to go.
Well, like I said, Milner's added something different. He's crossed the ball into the box. That's a good challenge, really. Zuma's quite within his rights to go there. Richarlison with a silly foul, which will frustrate his manager and the fans.
Here's Matip again. He's had a few sorties for, but he's made a mess of that one. And suddenly Bernard is driving forward in the opposite half. Matip gets back to make a challenge. It comes through to Schneiderlin, who can't control it. And suddenly Firmino has got Salah in space here. He's got Milner, Alexander-Arnold and Mane in the box. And he doesn't find any of them. I'm sure it was an intended cross, but it's a ball that's come off his left foot and gone straight into the gloves of Jordan Pickford. A real waste from Salah.
Well, it was. He's got himself, and again, Everton committing men forward. They're really they're trying to get a winner, but they're being left open and exposed, and that's a poor ball in from Salah. I wonder if the manager's thinking about even Sturridge maybe coming on for him, because it's not really happened for him so far.
No.
But he is getting into positions, and he does cause problems with his pace.
Everton seem to struggle whenever Bernard gets too far forward.
Exactly,
they get caught, don't they? Here's Salah again, same position, flicks it infield. It's come through to Schneiderlin, who gives it away. Terrible ball, and Fabinho intercepts for Liverpool. Here's Firmino, tackle from behind by Keane. It comes through to Bernard. Here's Kurt Zouma, back to Jordan Pickford. Well, there's a terrific atmosphere and a real tension about this game now. Liverpool, the dominant team at the moment, as Fabinho goes down, nothing given, and Schneiderlin pushes it forward to Richarlison. Richarlison driving forward, wants to shoot on that left foot, does shoot. It loops up off Milner. Van Dijk with a header clear. Gay is on the edge of the box. Clever little flick square to Bernard. Bernard to Idrissa Gay. Idrissa Gay into the box, pursued by Milner. Still Liverpool can't get it clear. They will now. James Milner clips it up towards Salah, but it's gone beyond him, and Kurt Zouma will just direct it back to goalkeeper Jordan Pickford.
Well, you can feel the tension in the ground, can't you? I mean, Everton are going for it. I mean, they're not sitting in and saying, well, listen, we're going to sell for a point. They're giving everything they can. They don't quite have that real quality in the final third of the pitch, and Liverpool are desperate for someone to find it.
Henderson trying to find a ball down the middle. Again, it's Keane. He's done well, Michael Keane, today. He's had his detractors this season. Hasn't always played very well, but today he's been excellent. You know, against this fearsome, as it is now, the traditional Liverpool front three, if you like. And suddenly Richarlison at the other end is coming forward for Everton. Wide on the right-hand side, into the penalty area. Low ball in! And not quite a connection. I think it was Bernard who threw himself at it. It's come out to Lucas Digne. Digne into the box. Calvert-Lewin with a flick header. Richarlison will chase with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold clears. That was a good chance for Everton. Richarlison did well. Bernard trying to get a touch, didn't get one. And it stays 0-0.
Well, Liverpool committing men forward now. Richarlison plays it into a good space. Oh, and he's just a fraction away. Just eased out of it. By Trent Alexander-Arnold there. Just did enough. I think if that's Richarlison going in there and Bernard's playing in with his longer legs, he might have just got something on it.
He's not the tallest Bernard, is he? Everton are going to bring on Cenk Tosun, their Turkish centre forward, for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. That's a straight swap by Marco Silva. Tosun, who hasn't really convinced since arriving from Besiktas. He has got 4 goals in 24, which is not a great return, is it, for a central striker?
I think it's coincided with Everton's. You know, they haven't had a great time recently, have they? And they're not creating chance after chance after chance. They're just trying to find a way. Too many managers turning over at the minute.
Here's Firmino for Liverpool. drifting infield from the left-hand side, trying to play the ball across field. It's not a good ball, and Bernard will intercept it and drive forward again. He's got support from Sigurdsson. Good tackle though by Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's come back to Schneiderlin on halfway. Here's Idrissa Gueye. Gueye with the ball out wide to Richarlison, who almost left the ball behind. Was he caught late there by Robertson? I think he was. Richarlison's gone clattering into the sidelines, holding his ankle. It's a yellow card for Andrew Robertson for that foul on Richarlison.
Well, that was a good old-fashioned challenge from back in the day. I'm pretty sure if Seamus Coleman was kept on going, he might have kept the ball in, actually. Richarlison probably made the most of it, stayed down a little bit longer than he had to, probably. Another substitution being considered by Everton. Gomez looks like he's been given instructions in there, so maybe it might be Schneiderlin to come off.
It's a free kick to Everton with a quarter of an hour to go. It's Gylfi Sigurdsson, the Premier League's biggest ever scoring Icelander, who gets the ball in towards Tosun, who got away from his marker but then scuffed the shot. Didn't have any real power on it at all, and it went through to a fairly relieved Alisson, although it's debatable whether Tosun was onside or not. But he did the first part well, didn't he, finding some space, but then he couldn't connect properly.
There was a wild swipe there from Tosun, but I think he probably thought there would have been a Liverpool player around him and he had to take the shot on quickly. A little bit unlucky. It's Schneiderlin that's made his way.
Yeah, Schneiderlin's off, and on comes Andre Gomez, who's perhaps a little bit more attacking minded than the man he's replacing. Scored in a recent game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, which Everton lost by 3-1. We've got 14 minutes left at Goodison Park, where it's still goalless. Fabinho hoists it upfield towards Firmino, who is caught in possession and loses out to Idrissa Gueye. Tosun chasing with Robertson. Robertson wins the duel, and Liverpool will try and get forward again with Matip. Here's Henderson to Alexander-Arnold. Not a very good ball. Fabinho has to stretch, and it ends up going all the way back to Alisson, who finds Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool, as it stands, a point adrift of Manchester City in the race for the title. Manchester City winning thanks to Riyad Mahrez's goal at Bournemouth yesterday. Liverpool looking to match them with a victory here, but as yet the goal hasn't come. Here's Richarlison for Everton. Liverpool get the ball away. Firmino with a flick, it comes out to Zuma, who plays a ball forward rather hopefully, but in the end hopelessly, with his right foot, and Liverpool have possession again. Everton fans doing their best to get their team going. I mean, they feel maybe now that they may not have a better chance than this of getting a much-needed win and long-awaited win against their arch-rivals. Here's a ball down the line. I don't think Idrissa Gueye is going to reach that, and Robertson will allow it to go out of play. Robin from Brazil says, should Salah come off for Shaqiri perhaps, or Henderson?
Well, possibly. You have Sturridge as well, he's a goal scorer. That might be a consideration. I think he'll try and probably stay with what he's got. What I would say for Marco Silva though is he's taken off Schneiderlin, who's predominantly a defensive type player, and he's brought on Gomez, who's a little bit more, as you said, a more creative player, so he feels he can win the game.
Tosun's been tripped by Fabinho, and Martin Apson's gone straight for his pocket. That's a yellow card for Liverpool's 25-year-old Brazilian defensive midfield player, and thoroughly well deserved. He knew exactly what he was doing, and Andre Gomez, who's just come on, ended up on the deck and booking for Fabinho. That's Liverpool's second following Robertson. Everton have seen Theo Walcott go into the book, but he's since departed to the bench. 39,335 spectators at Goodison Park. Neither set yet, knowing who might be celebrating at the end. We've got 11 minutes to go at Goodison. It's Jordan Pickford driving the ball with his left foot towards the far side. Liverpool have it again with Salah, but he can't get his pass on target, and it is knocked away by Coleman, but only as far as Salah. Here come Liverpool again. That's good play by Jordan Henderson, who's got round Digne and a chance to deliver a cross, but it's overhit, and might even be rescued on this near side by Robertson. Richarlison went sliding in. It's a throw in to Liverpool. Robertson wants to get it in quickly, but it's probably too quick really, because Milner had enough time to sort his feet out, and the ball has come off Milner and gone out for a throw-in. The two managers in thoughtful mode at the moment.
Certainly, and again, there's a big consideration now. Stick with what you've got, hope for a break. I'm sure Liverpool know there's a chance or two left in the game.
The difference is, though, Al, that prior to this match, Liverpool had their fate in their own hands. If they draw, they don't. Yeah. Manchester City have a much better goal, I say much better, 7 better goal difference and a point advantage. So suddenly, Liverpool won't be able to help themselves if Manchester City keep on winning.
See, I just wonder whether Sturridge coming on, just something different.
He hasn't been in the goals much.
No, he hasn't.
Lately. He's
just don't know.
Ever going without a goal, but good strikers end those runs eventually. Whistle's blown. It's a foul on Idrissa Gueye.
Again, you can feel the tension around the stadium. The Everton fans desperate for their team not to lose today. I think they've shown real character today. I still think they're such an attack-minded team at time. You can see why they've conceded so many goals, because they are very open, and it is difficult to play against a quality team, which are Liverpool. And it looks like Lallana's been undressed,
taking his top off, isn't he?
Which is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, but he's creative. Here's Coleman. Flicks it out to Richarlison. Coleman's continued his run. Great ball over the top by Richarlison. Coleman in early. Touched by Bernard. It'll come out to Gomez. Gomez back in. Punched away by Alisson at the near post. Header is won by Gueye. Up it goes towards Chink Tosun, but he can't get possession, and Alisson comes out and then bowls it over on towards Firmino, who controls it beautifully and then finds Mane. Mane's got Salah up ahead of him trying to stay on side. It's Sadio Mane. Oh dear. Well, he had Mane, which would have been a simple ball to his left-hand side. Instead he tried to thread in Firmino, and he got it all wrong, and he just passed it to Jordan Pickford, the Everton keeper.
Yeah, they're just starting to get a little bit tense down, the Liverpool players. They know the importance of the game. The final pass is just missing at the moment. Again, Everton got themselves into a decent position, but didn't look a threat, did they? Also, great balls, great tackle.
Here's Bernard, edge of the area, great tackle by Van Dijk. Liverpool survived. Just for a moment, Bernard had a little gap there around the edge of the area. Fabinho plays it into Milner. Both sides want to win this game, there's no doubt about that.
They certainly do.
Milner's ball is a good one. Trent Alexander-Arnold on the far side. Mane is in the box. It's intercepted though by Keane. It'll be a corner to Liverpool. Well,
it's a fourth corner of the second half, but so far Van Dijk, he's been like a Rolls Royce. He really has.
Yes,
he has been imperious today. Bernard with a lovely touch, but he just didn't have the power or the strength or the guile to get past Van Dijk, who didn't panic in that situation, kept his calm. He's now a threat from a corner, and again a quick breakaway from Liverpool. So important that this ball gets into the area.
2 late goals against Watford in the week. Could do with one from him here. Alexander-Arnold's outswing, and Matip is there! He got the header in, but it bounced wide. Big climb by Joel Matip. Good delivery by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Good chance for Liverpool, but not taken.
Oh, that's a great chance. It really was. Again, that was probably the best corner of the game from Liverpool's perspective. Matip, he just got too much on it. It's a big decision now for Liverpool.
Sadio Mane is going off and being replaced by Adam Lallana. So the 3 up top didn't last that long. Probably had about 10 minutes together on the pitch, maybe 15. And Adam Lallana, whose first half of the season was completely depleted by injuries. It's only his 13th appearance of the campaign, Lallana, but he's a He's a silky smooth midfield player on his day. Here's Salah. Now Lallana trying to get forward. He's drawn a foul from Coleman. Coleman is claiming he's innocent. Liverpool want Coleman to give the ball back rather than remonstrating with the referee while holding it. Your initial reaction was no foul.
No, I thought he actually ran into him, but
Milner into the box. Van Dijk is up. Fabinho's there as well. It might come through to Matip or Firmino. Firmino's shot is blocked, and once again it's Michael Keane in there doing some splendid defending for Everton. He's had a very good game. We've got 5 minutes left at Goodison Park. And it hasn't been a boring 0-0 draw. It's been absorbing, it's been tense, and that was good defending again by Everton to deny Firmino a chance to break the deadlock. Not much time left now.
Of course, it means so much in the city, doesn't it?
Yes.
Everton want to be the spoilers. They want to put a little more doubt in the Liverpool fans' minds and the players.
It's a strange kind of rivalry because I think it's fair to say that quite a lot of Liverpool families within the family itself are split down the middle.
Of course, yeah.
Half red and half blue. It's not always the case, is it, in derbies? I mean, some would say that Liverpool probably, given the choice, would rather beat Man United than Everton. Anyway, here's Lallana trying to find Salah. He can't do so. Michael Keane is there again with an intervention for Everton. Who've got the ball out wide to Richarlison, who's got the pace to keep it in on this near side. It's Richarlison for Everton. Good ball into the box, headed away by Matip. Only as far as Bernard, although he's midway inside the Liverpool half and finds Digne. Digne plays a low ball in, not a good one. Intercepted easy, then a poor touch by Alexander-Arnold. Now, what's he given here?
Just outside, I think.
Just outside the box. There was a foul on Digne by Alexander-Arnold. We're getting a good look at it here, and the referee's got it absolutely right. It was just outside the penalty area. Alexander-Arnold clipping Digne, went flying. Digne, of course, is a real expert from these set-piece situations, although it's perhaps the wrong side for him. Sigurdsson might prefer it with his right foot.
I certainly think Sigurdsson here, this will be a cross, comes shot. It's a freebie really for Everton. They just have to make the keeper work. Another metre further forward there, and that's a penalty.
It's a huge moment potentially this. The ball is right on the far corner of the 18-yard box. Everton have got 5 blue shirts in and around the penalty spot. Sigurdsson, no, it's Digne to deliver. There's an Everton player gone down, and the ball has just drifted harmlessly across the face of goal and gone out for a throw-in on the far side. They didn't really make the most of that. Somebody went down, it was Zuma, but I don't think there was any kind of pressure on him at all. A few of the Everton fans were screaming penalty, but none of the players certainly were.
No, I think Zuma's I think he's run into someone there inadvertently. I'm surprised Sigurdsson didn't take that on there. Really test the keeper, fire it across that area. Hope somebody gets on there. It's a little bit safe for me, that.
It's Everton who are finishing the game better at the moment. Andre Gomes leaves the throw-in duties to Seamus Coleman. Coleman throws it down the line towards Richarlison. He gets his header in. It finds Sigurdsson. Here's Richarlison again. It goes round the outside of Robertson. Tries to keep the ball in and nick it beyond Robertson in anticipation of a cross, but he's put it out of play. It's a goal kick to Liverpool, who now have only 2 minutes of normal time in which to try and regain their top spot in the Premier League, which they lost to Manchester City yesterday. Richarlison with the touch. Here's Andre Gomes. Gomes getting beyond Van Dijk and feeding Tosun. And there's a covering tackle there from Matip, who's hurt himself in doing so. And he's complaining about a foul there, but I think Tosun had every right, did he not, to go for the ball there? I don't think there was any malice in that whatsoever.
No, he's got to go for it. And again, Gomes has added that impetus there. Tosun really hasn't got the pace there, has he, to anticipate that?
Here's Zuma at the other end, hoisting it away for Everton up towards halfway. It's with Lallana, who can't make a telling touch there. Here's Tosun again, back to goal on the halfway line. Bernard for Everton, tackled by Trent Alexander-Arnold. We're in the final minute of the 90. Can Liverpool, as so many championship-winning teams in the past have done, find something late to snatch victory? Manchester United were the masters of it in Fergie time, weren't they? Something which Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's seems to have inherited. They got a late winner against Southampton yesterday. Here's Coleman for Everton. Poor ball, square and straight out of play. Richarlison has just kicked it away from Robertson, who was preparing to gather the ball and take a throw. No action taken. Van Dijk for Liverpool, deep inside his own half. Goes back to his goalkeeper, who maybe will be able to get further distance with the ball. Straight down the middle. Up goes Firmino. Towering header by Michael Keane, who's had a terrific game at the heart of the Everton defence. He really has. Yeah, he's been brilliant today. Him and Zuma so far have been very, very good for Everton. The game's not over yet. No, it's not. Milner. Find out in a minute how much time there's going to be added on. It's Milner on halfway. It's 3 that's been announced, so not very long. Robertson, left-hand side, clips it in towards Lallana. Clever idea, but Lallana couldn't control the ball, and it goes over his head and into the hands of Jordan Pickford, who made a magnificent save in the first half to deny Mo Salah. To be fair, he hasn't had a lot to do in the second half. Pickford, I mean, the covering job has been done by his defenders, who've twice denied good chances, one to Salah and one to Firmino, with timely interventions. Keane and Digne.
It was just a free kick, really, wasn't it, that he had to handle from Trent Alexander-Arnold. That went over the top, but it's important now that Everton don't lose this. They need to keep the two full-backs in, but Digne wants to get forward again.
Now then, touch to Tosun, who makes a mess of trying to control it, and the ball comes forward for Liverpool to Roberto Firmino. Firmino towards Salah, away by Zuma, and then hooked upfield and out of play by Coleman. Liverpool don't have much time. 2 minutes left now of stoppage time. Manchester City will be enjoying this, as long as Liverpool don't provide some late drama. Here's Robertson into Lallana. Now Van Dijk goes long. It's a raking crossfield ball. Alexander-Arnold can't control it properly. Came off his shin, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to Everton. Jurgen Klopp screaming at his players, but he's running out of time as the clock ticks down, and it looks as if Manchester City will have a 1-point gap at the top of the Premier League at the end of match day 29. Only 9 games left, only 27 points up for grabs in this tantalising title tussle between Manchester City and Liverpool. Tottenham a distant 9 points behind now. They're surely involved in the battle for Champions League places only with Manchester United, Arsenal and Chelsea, all of whom are hot on their heels. Chelsea, of course, winning today at Fulham by 2-1. We're in the last minute of the 3 to be added on. There might be one last roll of the dice for Jurgen Klopp, because his team have a throw-in on the... Although they don't actually, Everton have got the throw-in, I beg your pardon. So that might negate that possibility. Thought it would come off an Everton player, but Digne is going to throw it long, and there's very, very little time left now. Matip's there, Fabinho's there, and drives it forward. Alexander-Arnold has to get this ball back in play from the throw-in very quickly, but it's away by Digne. And here's Salah, and now Henderson. Idrissa Gueye gets it clear. The referee blows his whistle. The two managers shake hands. Liverpool are denied a victory by their Merseyside rivals in a tense and frenetic at times derby, which was a little bit low on quality. But the big story really is that it means that Manchester City have a 1-point lead at the top of the Premier League, with both of the two leaders having 9 games left to play, and City have their fate in their own hands. It's finished at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway, is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there, Lovren's there, Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool.